Hello, I'm going to talk about a text I really like today. It's called Way of the Bodhisattva by Shantideva. And there is a long section in it that I want to talk about today about mindfulness. And it is in Chapter 5 of Way of the Bodhisattva. The Way of the Bodhisattva is a text that has been very influential throughout Indian and Tibetan Buddhism. It's a very well-known text. It's really just a really long poem that tells us everything we need to do on the Bodhisattva path. So there's a long section about mindfulness, and I'm going to talk about it now. And first I'm going to read some passages, and then I'm going to explain those a little bit. So, Shantideva in the text says, "Those who wish to keep a rule of life must guard their minds. Without this guard on the mind, no discipline can be maintained." Those who wish to keep a rule of life must guard their minds. Without this guard on the mind, no discipline can be maintained. Wandering where the elephant of mind will bring us down to hell, no beast, however wild, could bring us such calamities. If, with mindfulness's rope, the mind is tethered, our fears will come to nothing. Every virtue will drop into our hands. So, what is this about? This is about training our minds to be here. This is called mindfulness training. Mindfulness is like a rope that keep our minds in control. Mindfulness is what we use to bring us back to our experience, to this moment, to being here now. And it's important that mindfulness brings us back to this moment. So in the text, he describes our mind as like an elephant. It's a crazy creature that just smashes through things and just goes wherever it wants all the time. And we can think of our minds that way. A lot of people describe it as like a monkey who jumps from tree to tree and you can't control it. And that's a good one too. I don't know why we use all animal examples, but it takes effort to cultivate mindfulness, and anyone that's ever meditated can tell you that as it turns out, our mind is a crazy person, right? And mindfulness it's so important. Our mental habits take a long time to work on, so we have to start with diligence, and we have to have a lot of patience because we're not going to get anywhere very quickly, right? It's going to take us a lot of work and a long time to really be able to manage our minds and control where our thoughts are taking us. I'm going to read a few more passages. "Tigers, lions, elephants, and bears, snakes, and other hostile beasts, those who guard hell, all ghosts and ghouls. By binding this mind, all these things are bound. By taming this mind, all these things are tamed. For all anxiety and fear, all sufferings, their source is the mind itself. So, thus the truthful one has said." So the truthful one's the Buddha. And he just said, and Shantideva is just telling us that all our problems go away if we train our minds. That doesn't feel true, does it? But the point is that many, many, many of our problems are created in our minds. We often let ourselves be consumed by trivial things and eaten up by nothing. And the reason is because of our minds, because our minds take us down that road. When we're present, our emotions don't take control of us and dominate us quite so much. I've heard it said that when you're not mindful and you think you're not good enough and you're distracted, it's really easy to sell you things. I think that's true. I think in a lot of cases, that's how all the things that make us spend too much money work. So even outside of a Buddhist context, I think mindfulness is a really good thing for everyone to cultivate. So that's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed this talk. I think I'll post a link so you know where to find this book if you want it. I think it's a very good handbook for Buddhist practice, Way of the Bodhisattva. Thank you for taking the time to watch.